Our next guest says his Greek mom used to joke that if she ever died, he'd starve without her cooking. So after her passing, he did the only thing he could, learned how to make the recipes, keep her spirit alive, and write a cookbook filled with food, family, and a lot of humor. Gus Constantellis is a comedian, writer, and now author of My Greek Mom's Recipes. She died, I wrote this cookbook, and he joins me now. Good morning.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Okay,
I'm glad I made you chuckle.
I want to know the conversation that went into the title of the book.
Oh my God. Well, okay, originally the title of the book was actually My Dead Mom's Recipes, and I know. And then the publisher was like, harsh, maybe. And so we went back and forth and we landed on My Greek Mom's Recipes. She died. I wrote this cookbook. We felt like it needed to have some of like my tone and energy in it. But My Dead Mom's Recipes, I think, was gonna, alienate the Midwestern moms who are primarily the demographic of this book.
Well, I love that you started with My Greek Mom's Recipes because we have a big, vibrant Greek community here in Houston. And every one of my friends, the minute you walk into the house, they go, sit down, let me feed you.
As they should, okay? They're Southern and Greek. They should be feeding you.
Yes, all right. You always dreamed of being an author as a child. You excelled in English and you loved reading growing up, but you wrote an emotional story about your dad's heart attack in 6th grade. And so that's the first time you kind of got that kind of how therapeutic writing could be.
Yeah, it was a really cool moment. I got to read it in front of all the kids in my middle school, and it's funny because they would all bully me. And after I read that story, no one bullied me ever again. It was very cathartic. But I really did learn about like the power of writing and also sharing your story and telling people like this is who I am. You might think this, but I've experienced this. So I don't know. And it was really a moment where I was like, oh, I can be funny and sad at the same time, which is a lot of what the stories in this book are.
All right, just like our guest right before you, she came from immigrant parents. Your mom grew up in a small village in Greece, an immigrant as well. And as we all know, immigrants when they come to America, and we're made up of everybody, food is one of those big connectors. It makes you feel like you're still home, right?
Right, absolutely. And the thing is like my mom, she learned how to cook for like 12 people at a time. So like, and she didn't speak any English, so food was literally the way that she communicated with our friends and like our teachers and everything. So it was always really important to me to like give food to other people as well because of that.
And I just love the story of, you moved to Athens at 12 to work at a clothing factory, just 12 years old, right? Immigrated to New York City at 22 with her husband and young child. And then what is probably the greatest lessons you've learned that remind you of how this country was put together and the importance of immigrants and how they put it together?
So it's interesting because like me and my brothers truly like never felt like our parents were very patriotic growing up because they always talked about Greece. Like my mom loves Greece. She calls her village, which is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this village is like so small. I went on Google Maps and I saw my entire family outside smoking a cigarette. It's tiny. And they loved it. My mom called it like a Paris. She was like, "This is the Paris of Greece." I was like, "This is not the Paris of Greece, but this is a hole in the earth." But okay.
Yeah.
But they never felt very patriotic. And then I remember actually, it was right after 9/11 happened. My dad started crying, and I really felt like in that moment he was like, "I'm an American. I feel for this country, and I love this country." And it was a really beautiful thing to share.
Yeah, well, they always talked about Greece because, as we all know, Greece is the word.
Well, Greece is the best place on earth. I mean, people, someone recently asked me what beaches I go to here in New York. I'm like, I don't go to beaches in New York. I go to beaches in Greece, please, okay?
Oh my God.
So sorry.
All right. The social media fame, and this was so cool. You posted your mom often. What made you decide to do that? Is it just because you wanted to share her recipes, or it's just kind of funny that your mom would you be posting and talking about her, and she really didn't know what you were saying about her half the time, and we didn't understand her half the time?
I started doing an impression of her in like a blonde wig and a dress. I could go get the wig right now if you want. But then it turned into like, let me show people on Instagram the actual person behind the character that I was doing. And so I started posting her and I did it for my birthday. And she was just like on a roll that day. She said so many things. She was like, "Oh, 28 years old. you're 28 and you're still this stupid. Ah, taxi, happy birthday. She was just on a whole roll. And so it was such a great video. And I never thought I was ever going to videotape for her again for any content. And then it just kept going and growing. And all her church friends started like reaching out to her, being like, oh my God, you're amazing. We love you. You're so funny. And everybody would stop her on the street and smoke a cigarette with her, which I thought was incredible.
She became like a centerpiece of your comedy and your social media as well. You're known for her huge homemade meals and refusing takeout. And you say that even if you grew up poor, you always felt rich through the food.
Yes, absolutely. And we did grow up poor, and she always had a full fridge of everything. Like we always had like a lamb roast every Sunday, and if we couldn't afford lamb, it was chicken. And so she always managed to like fill the table with as many things as possible. And it was something that like I have learned to do now in my adult age. Like I make lunch for myself every day, and that is very important to me.
Yeah, you know, when our loved ones pass away, they're not gone. They've left their, fingerprint, footprint, everything else in us. And it's in you, but you also carry it through this cookbook. Her personality is the heart of this cookbook, and you kind of return to that early dream that you had as a child to become an author. All right. Every cookbook is different in how it's presented. In this particular book, how's it laid out?
So each recipe comes with a story about my family or my mom or me or grief. And it's told through a very humorous lens, but also can get quite sad and dark. But it's also just very vulnerable and real. Like I talk about this book like it really is a representation of the first 2 years of grief laid out. Like I'm very vulnerable and real in each story, but also very funny. And it's the recipes are one thing, but I think it's the stories that make my mom come alive. Like everybody that's read it, especially my boyfriend now, who's never going to get a chance to meet my mom ever, finished the book yesterday, and he was just like,
Aw.
I now know a person I'm never going to know. And that is beautiful.
Yeah, that is. All right. And I just love the fact that it's something that you two had talked about, but you've brought it through fruition here. All right. One of the
Yeah,
recipes.
she was so excited about that.
Yeah. And I promise you, she's looking down and she's so happy about that, looking right down on you. All right. So one of the recipes in the book is the tzatziki sauce, which is the thing that every time you go to a Greek restaurant, you go, I'm going to order this, and can we get some extra sauce?
Yeah, exactly. I know some people call it the white sauce, which I'm just gonna let you guys have it if you can't say tzatziki. But I have it all prepared right here if I can show you if you'd
Okay.
like.
Yeah. And I have it all finished right here. So as you're sharing with us how to make it, and your mom had a little bit different twist to it, didn't she?
I mailed it to you this morning, right? Did it get to Texas?
It got to Texas.
Did it
It's
make
all
it there?
good.
It's cold, good. So my mom would strain her yogurt for about 2 to 3 hours before she started. And then we have 2 cucumbers here. And I've also strained the cucumbers. The one thing you're not going to see in this recipe, surprisingly enough, is dill, which is very popular in a lot of tzatziki recipes, but not my mom's. It's very regional in Greece. And so this does not include dill, but it does include 4 cloves of garlic, which you may think is a lot, but she would sometimes go up to 7. Because she would say, you got to keep the vampires away, okay? They're coming for you. You like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You're going to get the vampires away. So now we put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in here. Fresh olive oil. This is literally my mom's old canister that she used for olive oil. And her olive oil all came from Greece. She would call up her friends anytime they went to Greece, and she'd be like, you have to bring me back a canister. And the canister was about 4 feet tall. It was absolutely insane. And so we always had like a fresh canister of olive oil in our pantry. So I'm also adding a bit of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon. She would be angry that I just used prepared lemon juice and not fresh lemon juice, but she's not here, so we can do whatever we want. And now I'm just adding some white vinegar and some salt and pepper. Ooh, this is right in the way. And then we are ready to mix all this up, and it's good to go.
Yes, and it is so good too. Look, let me tell you, this is so good. Just slather.
Are you tasting it over there?
Am I what now?
Oh, awesome.
Oh, I'm eating.
Are you tasting it over there?
Oh, yeah, I'm
amazing.
eating it right now. And it again, we're using straightforward, fresh ingredients like that, and your book is very self-explanatory. It's like you get through. People who say they can't cook, you can cook when you get through this book right here. So
Yes, actually. So I'm not a cook. I'm not a chef. I don't, this isn't a thing that I do professionally. And so I was able to, work with food testers and work with my aunt and work with my mom when she was still alive to get these recipes to a place that feel authentic and real, but are also simple for people to make. Like I'm here trying to help people meal prep without a crock pot. I'm here to like give you a Mediterranean diet that actually works.
yeah, Gus, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I love the way you've honored your
Thank
mom.
you.
All right,
Thank you so much. Great to meet you.
you can find the cookbook, My Greek Mom's Recipes. She died. I wrote this cookbook anywhere books are sold.